respected Health Minister of Karnataka, Suresh Kumar Ji, our beloved Datangekar IAS, and respected Sri Rajshekar Rao, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India, all the dignitaries in the dais and off the dais, dear brothers and sisters. First of all, I want to express my great pleasure to participate in this brainstorming session, especially with the company of our neighbor Health Minister Suresh Kumar Ji and our beloved Ratan Kelkar, who was once our district collector there. He was too young that time and very smart. We have loving memories of his activities there. To save the time, I want to read my speech. I am sure this brainstorming session will help to emerge concrete ideas and proposals for transforming the healthcare delivery in Karnataka and also in other parts of the country. I am given to understand that this summit is intended to promote healthcare system towards fostering partnership and leveraging innovations and technology, and also encourage the corporate social responsibility initiatives. I wish to register my appreciation to the Government of Karnataka and Elite Techno Media Private Limited for organizing such a contemporarily relevant event. The semantics of healthcare system itself over the years is transformed significantly, and it is now better understood as an ecosystem of interrelated stakeholders, each one assigned with mission to improve the quality and efficiency of healthcare delivery. The role of the government is very crucial in developing a people-friendly healthcare ecosystem. It was to develop a healthcare system by spending from public exchequer and also act as a facilitator for the private players in the field. Public health hospitals and dispensaries are the legislative domains exclusively allotted to the state governments under the Constitution and consequent to 73rd and 74th Constitution amendments. Powers, authorities and responsibilities have been endowed to the local self-government to implement various programs allotted to them by the state government in these sectors. Developing such a decentralized healthcare ecosystem is on the basis of understanding that public health is a multifaceted concept with so many other indispensable factors like clean and safe drinking water, unpolluted atmosphere, eradication of unhealthy lifestyles, sports and other physical exercises, reduction of the usage of sin goods, etc., for which the local self-government play very important roles. Of course, for a healthy society, the importance of nutritious food, stress-free occasions, and a people-friendly healthcare network is not underrated. It is therefore very crucial to have a comprehensive and integrated health policy that takes all these vital elements into account. We had already announced in Kerala a people's-friendly health policy there. Hence, the evolving and effective healthcare ecosystem, it is a prerequisite that various departments in the government, those deal with this aspect, should work in tandem so that the weak links in the chain of health sector can be identified and cured or replaced. But unfortunately, as you are all aware, in the government and the government departments often work in disintegrated or detached manner. The first victim of such disharmonious functions will be the health standards of the people. Hence, the concerned operations of various government departments dealing directly with the healthcare of the people are the important paramount of the better healthcare management. This need not to be confined to intrastate activities, but can be extended to the center-state administrative relations as well. There should be a strong and healthy tie-up and harmonious dealings between departments of union and states for developing a robust national healthcare ecosystem. There were serious efforts from union and state governments to improve the quality of healthcare delivery by expanding the healthcare institution network and thereby ensuring the outreach of healthcare activities to the people at large. Consequently, there were considerable improvement in this sector. Especially children and women are bearing the burden of the deficiencies in the system of health delivery. This is a severe issue which every policy maker should address seriously. Of course, with deliberate plans and concerted efforts, we could eradicate many diseases like smallpox, polio, etc. There are so many successful interventions and successful activities in this area. We could also contain the spreading of many dreadful diseases like AIDS in the country. However, notwithstanding the persistent effort by the governments to enhance the health standards of the people, the health statistics in India doesn't depict an encouraging picture. The health indices like infant mortality, maternal mortality, life expectancy, malnutrition, eradication of communicable and non-communicable diseases, etc., we have not attained desirable standards. From the available government data, the infant mortality rate per 1,000 live births is around 40 in India, while the maternal mortality rate per 1 lakh live births is around 167. These are very high compared to many development countries and above the world standard. In the case of marginalized groups like Dalits and Adivasis, the situations are severe. Similarly, the women-specific health issues also demand more attention. The details of per capita expenditure on health in India do not give a promising picture. As per World Health Statistics 2015, the per capita total expenditure on health at average exchange rate in India was $58 in 2012. During the same period, it was 88 and $108 in Sri Lanka and Indonesia respectively. The public expenditure for this sector is not impressive. In 2015 to 16, that year, the expenditure in the health sector was only 1.3% of GDP, below 2%, which is by no means acceptable. It is also important to note that the rate of growth of expenditure in health sector is lesser than the rate of GDP growth. The majority of cases in public health care system comprises limited secondary and tertiary care institutions and scarcity of money and scarcity of infrastructure and human resource, etc. And we should focus on providing basic healthcare facilities in the form of primary health centers in rural areas. The figure shows that nearly 1 million Indians die every year due to inadequate healthcare facilities and close to 700 million people have no access to specialist care. Almost 70% of the total population that lives in rural India has no or limited access to hospitals and they have been denied the services of specialists, 80% of whom live in urban areas. The country need to strengthen the infrastructure facilities and expand the network across the nation. For that, public expenditure on healthcare must go up considerably. On the other hand, the health industry is attracting heavy investments and it is growing at the fastest pace. The healthcare sector, which includes hospitals, nursing homes, diagnostic centers, pharmaceuticals, constitutes 65% of the overall market. The Indian healthcare market is worth around $100 billion US, which is expected to become $280 billion US by 2020, which means a compound annual growth rate of 23%. The healthcare information technology market, which is currently valued at $1 billion US, is expected to grow 1.5 times by 2020. The dichotomy is glaring. On one side, the public health institutions are suffering due to the dearth of funds, poor infrastructure, weak staff structure, and insufficient service delivery. The other side presents a rosy picture of heavy investments, including FDIs in pharma business, health tourism, super specialty hospitals, to which more than 70% of the population are not the beneficiaries. This inconsistency should be properly addressed, and the development paradigm should be tilted in favor of the ordinary people. The private investments in these areas cannot be prevented. On the contrary, it may be encouraged. But the such investment should be made available to poor people also. The health industry should help and assist the governments to develop a better healthcare ecosystem. I am telling this not by forgetting the corporate social responsibility of these companies, but much more can be done. Apart from financial assistance, many other services, as described here, previous persons who speak express that kind of things. Many other services can also be provided to health system. The methodology of such services may be worked out by the sector expert. In this session, I think several such suggestions will come out from your discussions, and that will be benefit to government sector and for a people-friendly health system and quality health care, etc. I expect the summit to spare some time to discuss this issue also. Coming to Kerala sector, I want 2 minutes only. Coming to Kerala sector, I have some success story to share. Many crucial state indicators are superior to the national figures, and some are comparable to those of the developed countries. The infant mortality rate of the state is 12, while the national figure is 39. The NFHS survey nowadays says that it come down to 6. Dr. Nida, it is like that. Come to 6. We are examining that also. And the maternal mortality ratio is 66 against national ratio of 178. The life expectancy is also better in Kerala. It is 76, and the national average is 66, I think so. And several things are there. But we are now facing new generation problems: non-communicable disease, cancer, high blood pressure, and thyroid, diabetes, etc. That is growing in Kerala. We are facing these kind of problems there. And this is the lifestyle disease also. We want to control the non-communicable disease, and also we want to control the prevailing communicable disease to prevent that. And we give importance to prevention. Prevention in the primary health system itself. Now we had introduced a mission called Ardram. Our state government introduced 4 important missions. One is Haritha Keralam, which deals with the waste management and this organic cultivation and water preservation, etc. is going on in that mission. And in Ardram mission, we are trying to improve the primary, secondary and tertiary healthcare systems. In primary, we want to convert the primary health center to family health center. That is the concept of the UK system, that a general practitioner and the primary health service, etc. Nowadays in our primary health centers, there is only one doctor, and up to noon time he is serving there. And we are going to change the system totally, and we are providing more human resource and more doctors and paramedical staffs. We are training them. We had already trained thousands of people within this 1 year of left government, and we are distributing this human resource to the primary health centers and converting that to the family health centers. We have to address 30,000 people there. 30,000. We had a primary health center for 30,000. That is the picture of all over India, I think. That should be reduced to at least 10,000. For one doctor, 10,000 patients, 10,000 people. We are trying to do like that. And there may be some progress. Prevention of this NCD, etc. should be addressed there. And rushing to the secondary and tertiary hospital should be controlled. In our state, all the peoples are coming to the medical colleges. Even if they got a cold or cough or everything, they are rushing to the medical colleges. What is the intention of medical colleges? That we are forgetting. And we have to control that. We are trying to make these secondary institutions super specialities. We have already provided, we decided to provide this dialysis unit to all taluk hospitals. We have already allotted 44 dialysis units, 44 taluk hospitals, the dialysis facilities, and we are going to provide each and every taluk hospital these facilities in government sector. And we are providing cath labs to the district hospitals. We had already provided 8 cath labs for 8 districts, and each 14 districts we are providing cath labs, and the cardiologic problems they should address the. We are going to improve the condition of the medical colleges also. We are making them center of excellence, and we are providing funds for that. 2,000 crores rupees are allotted in this current budget for the healthcare systems in Kerala, and also 1,200 new posts are created, and we are appointing them. The finance minister said that he is ready to create 5,000 posts, new posts in the health sector, and we are very enthusiastic in that. We are also asking this private sector also to help us. We are also conducting a e-health program there, registering each and every people and preparing e-health data of a very population-based e-health data is collecting and registering. Everything is going on there. In the short time I am not explaining each and everything, and we want the help of private sector also, and these CSR activities of these corporate companies are also we want to incorporate with the activities of our government. And I think I get some suggestions and some proposals from this discussion going on here, and very happy to implement the things which is practicable there. And also I am waiting for the result of these brainstorming sessions, discussions here. Once again, I express my happiness and thank you all for calling me to this important discussion, and thanks to everybody, and I convey greetings from Kerala peoples to you. Once again, I thank you.